Well, I was all excited to do a podcast this morning. Guess what? Anchor has changed its entire format. I used to use it to record my podcast because it was easy. One push of a button and I could record things and I could edit all on that platform. Basically, Spotify has got rid of Anchor, so you have to use your own recording software on your phone, on your computer, on your recording device, and then upload it. So, I don't understand the use of Spotify except it being a place to save your podcast or audio, video, etc. So I don't know if I'm going to be using it anymore. Kind of sucks. When Anchor first came out, it was an easy way to record a podcast for... I'm not doing it for money, but you could get paid for it, and it was pretty interesting. And now it's gone. So I will go back to the old school ways. I just want to record what's been going on at the lake. So let's get to it. What has been going on at the lake? Well, there are a bunch of tournaments coming up. I'm very excited. We have a club tournament this weekend. Then there is a solo pro. Then there is a Toyota series. And then next month, we're headed down to Table Rock. So this month, I'm very focused on Lake of the Ozarks. It's been good fishing for the numbers, but very hard to get a big bite. There is a fall transition going on now, but the water temp is still pretty warm. It's in the upper 70s. We've been having some warmer days the last few days. Today is September the 19th or 20th, one of those days, and it's been in the upper 80s every day. So we haven't had as much wind as we had last weekend. So I fished last weekend for 2 days, well, Sunday and Monday, and I caught a lot of fish, but I did a lot of looking, and I didn't fish real hard. I fished a lot of moving baits like crankbaits, spinner baits, buzz baits, little swimmers on a jig head, things that I could keep moving and look around and look at the water clarity, water temperatures, and what the shad were doing. The lake level has dropped down. So I don't know the exact numbers, but if it was at 659, then now it is either below 658. I don't know exactly, but the lake has dropped a foot or so. So a lot of the shad have moved out to from the back of the pockets back out to the main lake, or some of the main lake shad have just set up right to present themselves to where you can see them easily on the main lake docks, and where they've been moved by the wind, where they really like to stay in that good windy oxygenated water, or they get pushed around. And so the main lake docks have really been producing well, but it's really hard to find a big fish. Also, there's a lot of small shad in the lake right now, so finding the big gizzards is a little bit harder, but they are around. They're not in every single cove. They're not in every pocket, just as usual. Just like some creeks have shad in the very back of them, and some of them don't. So you have to move around. You got to find where the shad are active, where they're at to begin with, and then how big of shad do you want to really focus on? Because from what I've found, if you stay around the small shad and throw a small square bill or something small topwaters, small shad imitating type baits, you're catching smaller bass. But it is a lot of fun. You can catch a lot of bass. But catching a keeper, it could be difficult. If you want to catch a limit of Kentuckies, you can most certainly do that. If you want to catch a 10-pound limit of largemouth, you can do that. But getting the bigger bite has really been difficult. So I think if someone wants to get a quick limit, they can do that and then go flip up a big one, or switch to, say, like a swim bait, maybe a big hard swim bait like a shad or one of those clutch swim baits that are really, really awesome, the darter, or maybe an old school BBZ1. Haven't seen that one out in a while, but they make a 4-inch version that's really, really good. It doesn't have the greatest hooks. It's like the one I have only has one hook on it. So it's fun to throw pre-fishing, but I don't necessarily like throwing it in a tournament. Another good thing to throw is a spook or a really good pop-R type bait or a buzz bait. Those are fun. But I think to get that really big bite right now, you're going to have to flip them up. If you can find a combination of where the shad are at with your good brush and your favorite dock, and it's got some wind blowing on it, and there's some bluegill around, that's a perfect combination. There'll be a big one around somewhere like that. That could be up in the river, that could be in the glades, that could be anywhere in the lake right now. We've got good clarity of water throughout the lake. Of course, when you get up the rivers, it gets a little dingier, but it's definitely not muddy. We haven't had any rain, so there's clarity all the way up all the river arms right now. I couldn't really tell you which arm is the best, but I've mostly just been fishing up the Osage, so I can't really compare it to the Glaze or to the Osage or to the Niangua. But throughout this week, I'm going to be sampling all parts of the lake just to kind of see where we can get that hot bite going before the Toyota starts next week. Starts on Thursday. Everybody fishes Thursday and Friday of next week. And then if you make the cut, you can make fish on Saturday. So that is the goal. I think fishing should be fairly good. I think it's going to cool down this week a little bit. We are still in the dog days. We are still in that September time where things have not kicked off for the fall, but they are trying really hard. If we can get some temperature drop, air temp and water temp drop, that'll help. And we'll kind of get things rolling into that big fall feed. But for the most part, you're really going to be moving around, sampling a lot of different things. Try shallow, but don't be afraid to go back out deep and get back out on the main lake. They could be set up on piles. They could be set up on your docks, suspended. It's a very open book right now on what you can do. What I have tied on right now, I've got a square bill, I've got a popper, I've got a chatterbait, I've got 2 different jigs, a finesse jig and kind of a medium-sized swim jig. I've got a shaky head with a trick worm type worm on it. I've got a wacky Cinco, and I've got a Ned rig. On the Ned rig head, I can switch it to a minnow. I can put a 2.8 Kitech on it. And then on the wacky, I can make it a drop shot pretty quick. And I also have a Texas rig. So on the Texas rig, I can throw my brush hog, my power worm. I can throw a beaver style bait. I can throw basically any type of plastic I would like. And I also throw a tube a lot this time of year. So beavers and tubes, the gliding Texas rig type baits can be very good. That is a good way to flip brush and laydowns and docks and hopefully get a bigger bite. But we'll see. So thanks for listening, and I will try my best to audio record myself with my own tools, because Anchor doesn't really work anymore. See ya.